why your life isn't changing even though you're trying. You're going to figure out more and more about what is keeping you stuck despite all your best efforts. So let's get into it. Much love, many blessings, and as always, good things to you and yours. What's going on, internet? We're going to talk about how to get you out of the mental loop that is keeping you stuck. We're diving in deeper into how to overcome overthinking, how to overcome anxiety, and even doubt. So let's talk about it. You're trying, but nothing's changing. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because something else is off. And the real reason is you've been consuming more than you're taking action. You're bringing in more information than you are taking execution. A lot of times we can get caught up in the idea of preparation, of planning, of being perfect. And this is actually a form of avoidance of taking the action that is necessary to take us to the next level. So we have to be honest with ourselves, and it starts with a sense of self-awareness. That's what's going to be important to get us to the next level. See, consuming information, even entertainment, books, media, audiobooks, all these things, podcasts, it can feel like it is progress, but in reality, your life will still stall if you do not take the action necessary to go to the next level. I want us to focus on things that can help us grow, that can help us become a better person. And it all starts with you, and it all starts with the decision. For every piece of information that you take in, you take action with it. I'm getting into the meats and potatoes, so to speak, here now, right here, within 2 minutes of the video. That's going to be one of the main concepts today, is taking action with each new piece of information that you receive. Now, this might sound crazy or extreme to some people. I mean, how am I supposed to take action with every new idea that I receive? Yes, I will say some discernment is required, but it is important that you put the brakes on the fire hydrant of information that is in today's media environment. If you're not careful, especially if you're doom scrolling or someone who's just spending hours and hours on the internet, you can receive so many life-changing ideas, but if you don't apply them to your life, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to stay the same. And if anything, you're actually going to feel a sense of being drained, so to speak. That's what we're here to help stop, so that you become more mindful, not only with your actions, but with your consumption. All right, now we're going to talk about how consumption is not in and of itself a problem. See, we want to gain new insights and new information, but it's a matter of taking execution afterwards. Do you have a routine or a system for yourself to implement ideas and new knowledge right away? Because another key concept is not to delay taking the action. A lot of us can have the idea that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that after this amount of time. And that's a slippery slope, because if you're not careful, you're basically reinforcing the habit of procrastination. You're allowing yourself wiggle room to stay the same with the same habits and the same problem. Because if you're not careful, overconsumption is just another form of overthinking, and it's something that leads to a fake form of productivity and progress. A lot of us can get caught up in the entertainment factor of motivation, personal development, and self-improvement, but the main takeaway is always this: action first before more consumption. That's a main message of these videos and this channel, and I hope it resonates with those who are serious and ready to take commitment to change their lives for the better, because either way, the time is going to pass, and you'll either be a step closer to achieving your goals, or you're going to be in the same spot you were 2 to 3 years ago, and if you're not careful, 5 to 10 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong. We are all, in a way, on our own journey. And if it's going to take 10 years of the same thing for you to finally get it, then so be it. Because it isn't until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing that transformation will occur in our lives. But hopefully with videos like this, we can avoid that, we can skip that, and we can save a whole lot of time, which is way more valuable than giving up 10, 20 bucks or whatever you need to in order to gain more valuable and actionable information. Not just feel good, but to feel right, to take action. It's almost like empowering yourself and giving yourself that permission to make the transformation here and now, and starting small, because we don't need to change our lives in one day. But the idea and the action combined over an extended period of time is what's really going to lead to an amazing transformation, and outstanding results. So there is an identity gap. You may want new results and a new version of yourself, but you're still operating like the old you. You're still stuck in the same habits, which is leading to the same outcomes. And that's what we want to avoid. We do that by developing self-awareness and taking action, because that's what's going to lead to more clarity. The shift here is we want to focus on less input and more output, especially if you're a creator, an entrepreneur, or business person, even an artist. If all you do is seek for inspiration and new ideas, but you never apply it, you never create something, then you're avoiding the important work, the deep work. You're avoiding building the assets, so to speak, that are going to give back as much as you give to it. Consumption is so easy because all you can do is take, take, take. In a way, this is about becoming less selfish and more selfless to your future self, and in a way to your past self. Finding that inner child, they call it, or that part of you that may have had goals when you were younger, but for whatever reason society just pushed them away or allowed you the opportunity to just forget it, and you chose perhaps to not believe in yourself. Well, wake up, snap out of it, because you're capable of so much more, and that's what this channel is about, helping to awaken the giant within, so to speak, as a big inspiration of mine would once say. Now, we're focusing on a simple system here to get you results. You want to have one major focus each week. When we get more advanced, we can speed this up, but to keep things simple, one major focus each week and 3 daily actions that we can take to keep the momentum going. Yes, you heard me right. Daily action is so important, especially when you're working to transform your life. We don't want to start, stop, start, stop. We want to keep the momentum of going, growing, and showing up on a regular basis. Right? Now, you don't need more information. You need more concentration, action, and dedication. You have to take this seriously more than ever before. Now, if you're in your 20s, you have some wiggle room. If you're in your teens, congrats for even watching a video like this, but you still have the opportunity to get years ahead. If you're in your 30s, you have the experience, but now it is so much more important that every move you make has significance for your future self, as well as giving back to the generations that are coming after you. In your 40s and 50s, I can't really speak to that, but I know that intentional action is a lifelong skill. The sooner you develop it, the better you'll be, and the better your community and environment will be. All right, so we want to reframe that confidence is just proof to yourself that you can trust yourself. And you do that by not only keeping your word, and you want to take the action alongside with it. If you say you're going to go to the gym, then you go to the gym. Even if it's for 10 minutes instead of 1 hour, by you showing up, you're providing yourself and your subconscious the proof that you have what it takes to show up and get things done. That's going to in turn develop a new sense of identity for yourself, that you can not only be trusted, but you're worth investing in. You're someone who is worthy of a better life. And that's an important thing to convince yourself of and to truly believe if we're going to go to the next level, because part of transforming our lives is really focusing on taking the action even when we don't feel like it. Emotions are super important, very important. Without feeling, what is life? But more than that, we have to make moves outside of our emotions. Sometimes our energy might feel down, but there are still important things that need to be done. And that's the beauty of our reality. You can move outside of your emotions. They can guide you, they can be a powerful force, but you don't have to be dependent on them. You can transcend it. In a way, mind over matter. Now, once we focus on building our confidence and our new identity through doing and not only thinking, that's when the small wins start to transform into a big plan and a better life. Now, when you become someone who executes, you become someone you can trust, and you become someone who is now capable of ultimately doing almost anything that you want to do. Now, there are limits, of course, but ideally, you want to develop this sense of self-belief through action. Start small, but don't stop. That's how we're going to continue to build momentum and the compounding effect. Think of it like an example in nature, a tree. A tree's constantly striving for growth. It doesn't just stop. At times it does rest, as we all need to rest. And we talked about this in the last video. But primarily we want to focus consistently on growing, on achieving new heights. Now, this is important for those who seek transformation, who want to do better for themselves. If you're happy where you're at in life, then that is great, because there's something to be said about contentment, about joy, about gratitude in the present moment. That's important every step of the way. But I'm speaking to someone who feels called to do more with their life, who perhaps maybe feels like they're living a mediocre existence. It isn't until you put the focus of self-awareness on yourself that you realize it is only you who can change your life for the better. It is only you that can take the important action to make the changes that you need to. While others can offer us support, words of wisdom, and guidance, it is ultimately up to us. Like they say, you can't force someone to drink water, per se. You can provide them a cup, but it's up to them to make that decision. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to make the decision to transform your life and to not consume so much, but instead to become sort of selfless and create more. More for you and your future self, and more for those around you, your audience, your customers, your target, your community, the people who you want to serve and help. And that's going to be you and others, ideally, so that you create an amazing life that is beneficial for everyone involved, everyone around you. And if it's a project that's just for you, then perfect. But remember, you are in control. You have to put limitations on the amount of information that you consume. And by taking daily action and immediate action on things that you learn, you begin to lead the way to a transformation. You begin to build success in ways that you have never imagined, and that is for the best. That is for a positive outcome, and you'll see how things can transform for the better. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you the insight to, again, as you take on new information, you find a way to apply it immediately so that you can start to rack up small wins, which will overall lead to a bigger victory. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, feel free to leave a comment below as to one key insight, because I will begin to feature new comments in upcoming videos. So if you want to be in a new video and be shout out for your comments, feel free to leave one below and subscribe. And as always, good things to you and yours. Much love, many blessings.